Guten Wednesday, everybody. Adam Clery from FourFourTwo here, and West Ham United have signed Niclas Fullkrug, the man with the most James Bond villain-sounding name in all of world football. And while that is slightly funny, yes, and there are loads of other jokes you can make about West Ham's weird relationship with centre-forwards, is this a goodbye? I say, yeah. Alright, so first things, Julian Lopetegui, you are a mystery, you are an enigma. You've played like 3 completely different formations in pre-season so far, so we don't actually know how West Ham are going to set up next season. Against Crystal Palace, they had Antonio and Kudus as like a traditional front 2 up top, but then against Wolves, I think it was, they had Danny Ings, Cornet, and Kudus again in like a normal sort of front 3. From his previous gigs, we know that Lopetegui prefers a 4-3-3, but he's also not adverse to a 4-2-3-1. He occasionally quite likes to have a 4-4-2 if he's got proper centre forwards to play with, and in almost every single West Ham game so far, he's had 3 or 5 at the back, so if I know. However, straight away, that is a major plus point for going out and signing a player like Fullkrug. At 31 years old, which I'm not even going to address the fact of giving him a 4-year contract at 31 years old, we're going to let that go. At 31 years old, he is what is known as a bit of a late bloomer. He spent years of his career scrapping around in the German second division, and his goal record within it was never anything that was going to catch the eye, like 1 in 4. He had a couple of seasons at Hanover where weirdly he looked a lot better in the Bundesliga than the Bundesliga 𝗍𝗲. That got him a move to Werder Bremen, where weirdly he looked better in the Bundesliga 𝗍𝗲 than he did in the Bundesliga. They got relegated, he fired them back to promotion, carried that form on into a transfer at Borussia Dortmund, where he's looked not game-changing or at like an elite level, but certainly very competent and very reliable, both domestically and in the Champions League. Like, just to take this one goal as an example, right, both the touch and the finish here are of a top level, so he is capable of delivering that. He just wasn't doing it as consistently as somebody at Dortmund maybe should be. But the picture I'm trying to paint here is not about his ability. We will get to that. It is about the fact he's had this unorthodox journey to West Ham United, where he's played in different divisions, in different systems, for different teams. He's done a lot, and as a result, he's very adaptable. Now at Dortmund, and I don't know how this yellow's going to look over this blue, so just bear with me, he was the focal point in what was like a 4-2-3-1 normally, so he was expected to be leading the line, to be pushing the opposition back, to get on the end of things, which he did very, very well, but he was also expected to drop, create chances for the other 3 attacking players, be a well-rounded, complete number 9. But at Werder Bremen, the season before that, he played in a 3-5-2, just like West Ham did the other night, where despite being a big, tall, strong, strapping, really scary-looking centre-forward, he was the small man in the big man, little man combination. As a result, he would be the one to drop into the space and work with the build-up play. He would look to get beyond the other centre-forward for flick-ons and knockdowns and stuff like that. Completely different way of playing, but again, something he was competent at. And that's something I do have to get across about Fullkrug to you. Like, no point in this video am I going to tell you something he is amazing at, how he's one of the best in Europe at this, or the best in Europe at that, but he is probably one of the most steadily consistent centre-forwards at doing everything you could hope to buy. So as a result, if we look at selected parts of his FBref profile, and if this is your first FBref profile, just that this number here indicates how many times per game it happened across the season, and this bar is sort of like how that ranks with all the other centre-forwards. A long green bar is good, a short red bar is bad, and none of this will be jumping out at you. Like, his shooting numbers are nothing to write home about. He got like 12 goals, I think, from like 29-30 appearances in the league last season. That's about what you'd expect looking at this. Although this one thing here that is quite high, that sort of represents that the quality of the chance he was getting was very good. But whether that's a combination of Dortmund create good chances or he gets into good positions, up to you. Those chance creation numbers, though, they're slightly more encouraging. You can see he's not afraid to get on the ball around the box. He plays it in to dangerous areas quite well. There's a lot of key passes, which is anything that goes on to make a chance. And in terms of his total numbers of chances created, nearly tripped over my own tongue there, scores very highly. And it's worth pointing out, by the way, these numbers aren't just compared to Bundesliga strikers. This is the top 5 leagues in Europe over the last 365 days. So Bundesliga, Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, Ligue 1. Now, a little stat that maybe should jump out at you, no pun intended, is his aerial duels. Like, he wins absolutely loads of them. He's right in the very top sort of bracket for players in terms of aerial dominance. I don't know why they've got a lost one underneath that, because of course that's low with the other ones. Just ignore that red bit entirely. He's very, very good in the air. Now, I know 𝗬𝗫𝗧𝗥𝗔 is going to be moving away from David Moyes' style of play, but regardless, West Ham last season were very good at creating chances from set pieces and not quite as good at taking those chances. They ranked 5th in the Premier League last season for their total combined XG number from set plays. And I know I say this every single time, not everybody cares about XG, but it shows they were creating a lot of chances from set plays, a lot of good chances from set plays. And yet, in terms of the number of goals from set plays, they ranked 9th. So if nothing else, there's a little bit of room for improvement there, and given that only 2 of those set play goals were scored by Antonio, the man he's likely to come in and sort of directly replace, seems like a good move. Or is it, though? Like, none of these statistics are going to particularly excite you if you're a West Ham United fan. If he's coming into the starting 11, it doesn't look like he's a game-changing signing, so why buy him? Well, there's one main, very good reason why Fullkrug represents a good transfer for West Ham United, and we've already mentioned it. It's Michail Antonio. Like, if you just pull out all these individual numbers for Fullkrug as his measure of being a centre-forward, none of them are going to particularly excite you. But despite the fact he was West Ham's top scorer last season, it's unlikely that 𝗘𝗫𝗧𝗥𝗔 is going to be seen as West Ham's central focal point. He might play through the middle on occasion, but he's never going to lead that line on his own under 𝗬𝗫𝗧𝗥𝗔. So unless we're about to see some stunning revival of Danny Ings' career, it means Antonio is who West Ham currently have as their centre forward. And when you compare their numbers together, you can see why they've made this move. In isolation, Fullkrug's numbers aren't particularly exciting, but compared to what West Ham currently have, he represents a massive, massive upgrade. The quality of his shooting, the quality of his passing, his ability in the air, his ability to create chances, he's a huge, huge step forward from what West Ham have currently been working with. And okay, I might have saved one really good statistic until this part of the video, right? If you compare these 2 individual stats, their ability to control the ball, to trap it, to not have it bounce away from them, for the ball to travel to them and it not immediately go back to the opposition, Fullkrug is fantastic at that, and it's not Antonio at all. And if you're watching this and you are a West Ham fan, how many times under Moyes last season, when you were trying to defend deep but needed to move up the pitch, did you see that ball come back straight away? How hard was it for you to move up as a unit? In fact, I remember one incredibly vividly, being a Newcastle fan, our equaliser at St James's Park. West Ham were trying to push up the field. They were trying to get out. We got a lifeline with some incredibly fortunate penalty. They were trying to move up the pitch, and in doing so, they'd taken Antonio off. So bad at it is he. In the end, I think it was Paqueta who was up front on his own. West Ham desperately tried to move up the field to relieve a bit of the pressure. The ball went long. It got turned over straight away. There was no ability to compete for it in that final third. And when Newcastle brought it forward, got their heads up, they found themselves as compact as this. No presence up front, no pressure on the ball at the back, and all of a sudden, they're all in this tiny, tiny little shape because they've pushed out too far, expecting the team to be able to move up, and Newcastle sliced them open with 2 passes. It might seem like a bit of a weird example to use given that Antonio isn't even on the pitch, but I promise you, if you had Fullkrug in that side, that goal never happens. He probably wins the ball when it goes up to him, and even if he doesn't, he competes for it a lot better, and Newcastle can't make these passes anywhere near as easy as that. He will genuinely really change how West Ham are off the ball and on the ball. And they really do need that central focal point at the very top end of the pitch, because we know 𝗬𝗫𝗧𝗥𝗔's big job this season is to evolve how West Ham play. Like under Moyes, West Ham had the 4th lowest possession in the entire league last season because they did not really want the ball. They wanted to sit back, be compact, be nice and deep, and then hit directly into the open space onto the counter-attack for your Bowens, for your 𝗘𝗫𝗧𝗥𝗓, for whoever, to then break through and move up the pitch. And that's why if we look at Antonio's heat map from the entirety of last season, you will see his job was not to be a penalty box presence. It was to get into the channels, to get into the flanks where he could chase after balls and he could move his team up the pitch. But just to show you, West Ham, what it is you've actually bought, right? Take it all in, have one big glorious glug of how Antonio plays. This is Niclas Fullkrug. He cares not for your poxy channels or your running after loose balls. He wants to be in this central area of the pitch, either the box if the service is there, or just outside of it if he's got to provide a little bit of it himself. He is a penalty box presence. He is a goal scorer. He is a goal creator. He is a big, scary, gap-toothed, gnarly-looking bastard that is going to really upset a lot of defenders. And one final little graph that I may take out if I can't be bothered to edit it. He came on against Spain for Germany when it looked like they were going out of those Euros. And yes, he wasn't really involved in anything. I'll give you that. But this was his entire contribution. Shots, passes, chances created, everything. He does not care about getting into wide areas. Everything is within the width of the goal. So yeah, that's the very easy answer to the question, why do you buy a player like Niclas Fullkrug? It's because you don't currently have a player like Niclas Fullkrug. And with that, I do declare the video largely finished. If you have enjoyed it, please let us know what you made of it in the comments below. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to us here at FourFourTwo. It's a big, exciting pre-season for approximately like 5 more minutes, and the Premier League is back, and we've got loads of cool videos to show you, so you don't want to miss those. We'll be covering every little thing A, my heart desires, and B, there are hours in the day for. One small drum I am gently beating at the minute as I'm doing the Great North Run in like 5 weeks, despite my knees being bad and my heart being bad and my everything being bad. But I'm trying to raise some money for UK mental health charity Mind. So I'll stick the link down below if you want to have a read about why that's important to me and why I care about it and the work they do and stuff like that. And if you do have any spare money kicking around, like a fiver, tenner, 27 million plus add-ons, please do consider donating that, because it really does make a massive difference. You can get me across all the social medias at Adam Clery, C-L-E-R-Y. The 442 socials are in the corner of the video. I just hope you have a nice day. Generally is my main wish. And if you have enjoyed this video, please do give it to all your friends. They'll really appreciate fun things to watch. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Bye.